first grade friends. Today we're going to read the story, The Mysterious Giant of Barletta. In the story, there is a giant who lives in a town, and the town of Barletta is about to be taken over by another army. So in the story, the giant comes to the rescue of the town. So I want you to think about that and think about how the giant comes to the rescue of the town. It's written and illustrated by Tomie de Paola, The Mysterious Giant of Barletta. In the town of Barletta, in front of the church of San Sepolcro, stood a huge statue. No one knew where it had come from or when. The mysterious giant, for that is what the people called the statue, had always been there, as long as anyone could remember. Even Zia Concetta was the oldest one in all of Barletta. She lived right across the square from the giant statue. Every day, every night, for my whole life, I've looked out the window, and there he is, she would say. Good weather and bad, the mysterious giant stood there. The people of Barletta loved having the statue in their town. In the early morning, right before the sun came up, the sisters from the convent and the other townspeople came to the church for Holy Mass. They always greeted the giant with a nod or a smile. The people on the way to the market always hailed the giant and asked that he give them good luck to sell all their goods or to get a good bargain. All day the children played around his legs, and the doves flew around his head. The young boys would sit on his big feet and tell jokes. A little later, the older boys would sit on the giant's feet to watch the older girls walk by. And at night, lovers would steal kisses in the giant's shadows. Then the streets would empty, doves would settle on the giant's head and the shoulders and arms and coo themselves to sleep. And Zia Concetta would open her window and call, "Buonanotte, Colosso, good night, big one." This was the time the giant loved best. All was calm, all was still. Ah, what a peaceful life. And the mysterious giant thought. But one day this peaceful life was over. Word had reached the town that an army of 1,000 men was destroying all the towns and cities along the lower Adriatic coast. And this army was heading straight for Barletta. The townspeople ran through the streets in panic. No one in Barletta was ready for an army coming to destroy them. They had no generals, no captains. Why, they didn't even have any soldiers. Shouts and screams echoed off the buildings. The night was lit by torches. All the peace and quiet was gone. No doves came to settle on the mysterious giant's shoulders, and Zia Concetta didn't call "Buonanotte" from her window. The mysterious giant didn't like this at all. The next morning was no better. It seemed as though everyone was in church for Holy Mass, but there was no market. No one even smiled, let alone waved at the mysterious giant. No children played. Everyone rushed around, piling their belongings in carts and wagons. Everyone was getting ready to run from Barletta. Everyone except Zia Concetta and the mysterious giant. "Colosso," she said to the huge statue, "as long as I can remember, you have stood here looking over this town and its people. Barletta loves you, and I know you love Barletta. I wish you could do something to save us from the army. With your size, I'm sure you could frighten them away. Why don't you hop down from your pedestal?" You remember from the Statue of Liberty, the pedestal is the part where the statue stands. And do giants typically, or statues typically get off the pedestal? I don't think so. But in this story. And that's just what the mysterious giant did. "Now," said Zia Concetta. They put their heads together and came up with an idea. "And a good one, too," said Zia Concetta. The mysterious giant climbed back and stood still. "People of Barletta," Zia Concetta called. "Come quickly! Great news! A miracolo! A miracle! Our giant is going to save us. Come! The people of Barletta gathered around. Friends, Zia Conchetta said, our giant will go to meet this army himself. All you have to do is 3 things. First, bring me the biggest onion you can find. Second, stay completely out of sight. Hide under the bed. Hide in the closet. Hide in the cellar. Hide in the attic, but stay out of sight. And third, don't ask any questions. Have faith in our mysterious giant. Someone quickly brought an onion. Now hide, shouted Zia Conchetta, and everyone scurried off. Well, Colosso, said Zia Conchetta as she sliced the onion in half. Bona fortuna! The mysterious giant took an onion half in each hand. Once more stepped off the pedestal and strode off to meet the army. I wonder why they would need the onion. Three miles outside the city, the mysterious giant sat down by the side of the road and held the onion pieces close to his eyes. Big tears began to run down his cheeks. The giant made loud, sobbing noises. Oh, so that's why he wanted an onion. He wanted to make himself cry. But I wonder why he wants himself to cry. What a sight the army saw as it came over the hill. Halt! Shouted the captain. The army halted. What is that? The captain whispered to one of his lieutenants. It looks like a giant boy crying, answered the lieutenant. Well, we'll see about this, said the captain, marching off to where the mysterious giant sat. I am Captain McKinnon, the captain declared. We have come to destroy this town. Who are you, and what are you doing here crying? No tricks now. Answer me. Oh, sir, said the giant, sobbing. I'm sitting out here away from the town because the other boys in school won't let me play with them. They say I'm too small. They pick on me all the time. They call me names like Minusculo and Deboli, tiny and weakling. Does he look small? Today they told me that if I tried to go to school, they would beat me up. I don't like being so small. The giant sniffled loudly and blew the hats off the soldiers standing in front. The captain and the army stood dumbstruck. If this giant was a small boy that the others teased, then imagine what the rest of the people in this town were like. They must be thinking in their heads, if he's small and they tease him, the other people must be really big. But someday, sir, the giant bellowed, someday I'll show them. I'm going to eat up all my pasta. I'll grow big and strong, and then I'll be able to fight back. The soldiers began to back away trembling. The lieutenant gathered around the captain, who had backed away from the giant too. There was only one thing to do. Captain McKinnon and his lieutenants drew their swords. They held them in the air and shouted, about face! Double time, march! The army turned and fairly ran in the opposite direction from Barletta. The mysterious giant threw away the onion halves, dried his tears, and went back to the church of San Sepolcro. You see them running away at the bottom? They're gone, shouted Zia Conchetta to the townspeople as the giant climbed back on the pedestal once more. The army is gone. You can come out now. The town has been saved. Our giant did it. Que bella festa! What a celebration was held that night. But when it was over and the moon was high in the sky, the mysterious giant looked out over the sleeping town. Doves cooed themselves to sleep on his head and his shoulders, Everything was calm. Everything was still. Zia Concetta opened her window. Buona notte, Colosso, she called, and grazie. So if you remember today how the giant was able to trick the army, turn to somebody near you and tell them. I hope you enjoyed the story.